So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Emoluments Clause, the spoils system, and Washington's letter to his nephew, Bushrod Washington. So a little bit of context. First of all, in 1824, John Quincy Adams defeats Andrew Jackson for president. The supporters of Jackson think that John Quincy Adams was an elitist, somehow made a corrupt bargain with Henry Clay, that maybe he cheated his way into the presidency, and then gave Andrew Clay, Andrew Clay, gave Henry Clay, a job in his administration as a reward for helping him win the presidency. And this was known as the corrupt bargain, 1824. So this launches a campaign on the part of Jacksonians to take back the presidency and, in their words, do away with elitists, bring majority rule back to the United States, do away with the Electoral College, no more elitists, no more college-educated persons. We want a real man, a real common man, Andrew Jackson. So part of their plan is to promise rewards, specifically federal jobs, for people who support, wealthy persons who support, influential persons who support Andrew Jackson. So Jackson wins, and he does just that. And it turns into something we call now the spoils system. He rewards his donors, his supporters, with jobs, with federal clerkships, assessor positions, any federal job you can think of. Jackson gives it to his supporters. He wipes clean everybody who was there before, viewing them as the enemy, that they were out to get him. And so now he has gotten rid of all of that. No more elitists, majority rule, common man. He's going to spread democracy. But does he really? That's another video we could make. But what I'd like to point out is that that's not how it was supposed to be. Today, we take it for granted that the spoils system is just part of politics. One hand washes the other. You do a dirty thing for me, I do a dirty thing for you. Nobody's the wiser, right? But that's not what the Founding Fathers envisioned. And the context of what the Founding Fathers created was they were trying to break away from a political system in England and a king who were both corrupt in their view, and did exactly that, rewarded people who supported them with financial rewards and land grants. The Founding Fathers were trying to get away from all of that. So for the founding generation to give jobs to people, only to people who supported them, or for people to pay them for positions, was anathema to the entire experiment of the founding generation. So Washington, to exemplify this, Washington writes a letter to his nephew, Bushrod Washington. Bushrod had asked for a federal judgeship, and because Washington was creating the first federal circuit court system, the first federal judge system, the first federal anything judicial system, Washington is creating this from the bottom up, from nothing. So he's appointing hundreds of judges and attorneys general and all of the positions that are needed. And his nephew Bushrod asks for a judgeship, and Washington replies in a very short letter, because he was ill at the time, and he says, basically, I can't do that. And I'm going to read the letter, and he'll explain why. So first, Washington is sick, and he tells Bushrod, this is going to be a short letter because I'm sick. July 27th, 1789, to Bushrod Washington. Dear Bushrod, among the first acts of my recommencing business, after lying sick for weeks on my right side, is that of writing you this letter in acknowledgement of yours not being fairly on my seat yet, I think he means his butt, or in other words, not being able to sit up without feeling some uneasiness. It must be short. So Bushrod Washington wrote a letter which historians have not been able to find. This is Washington's reply. You cannot doubt my wishes to see you appointed to any office of honor or emolument in the new government, to the duties of which you are competent. But, however deserving you may be of the one you have suggested, your standing at the bar would not justify my nomination of you as attorney of the Federal District Court in preference of some of the oldest and most esteemed general court lawyers in your own state, who are desirous of this appointment as well. My political conduct in nominations, even if I was uninfluenced by principle, must be exceedingly circumspect and proof against just criticism, For the eyes of Argus are upon me, and no slip will pass unnoticed that can be improved into a supposed partiality for friends or relations. George Washington. So very clearly, Washington is saying, you may be competent for this position. Um, it might be justified for you to apply for it. However, being your uncle, I can't give you that position because it would look like to everyone else who I'm supposed to be serving that I'm just giving jobs and lucrative positions to my family. That would be exactly opposite, antithetical to what it is that the founding generation was trying to accomplish with this experimental government. And I think that this really rings true today in a world where we live and everybody just expects that politicians are corrupt. It wasn't supposed to be that way. Originally, they didn't even call themselves politicians. They were servants of the people. And Washington is saying, I'm supposed to be serving the people by helping my own family that's not serving the people. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into what I call the second political age with Jackson, and also the founding generation's intent as far as the emoluments clause and serving the public, nepotism, favoritism. We don't have to take it for being just the way it is. We don't have to accept things the way they are. There is an original idea that we are forgetting about.